Another question here about the Holy Spirit. It's a very simple question, but it's a very interesting question. Can people really hear the voice of the Holy Spirit? Can people really hear the voice of the Holy Spirit? People will sometimes testify to the fact that they've heard God telling them to do something or not to do something, and other people say, well, I've never experienced anything like that. Well, where can we come down on this? There's something that we become aware of when we study the Scriptures, and it has a long, delightful word that you don't need to worry about, but I'll mention it so that you know I know it. And the long word is anthropomorphism. Anthropomorphism means that we apply to God human characteristics. Now, God doesn't have these human characteristics, but we talk about the arm of the Lord, the hand of the Lord, the eyes of the Lord, etc., etc. And here in this question, we're asked about the voice of the Holy Spirit. Well, the Holy Spirit is spirit. God is spirit. So these anthropomorphic terms that we use are not literally accurate, but they do convey to us an aspect of the relationship that we can have with God. So whilst I would say we don't hear the voice of the Holy Spirit, I do believe that the Holy Spirit is able to communicate with our spirit in indefinable ways. Now, some people may even go so far as to say, I can go beyond indefinable ways and say that I have actually heard a voice. I have a very dear friend, a young man who'd had a very serious problem with alcohol. And he'd been in hospital, very seriously ill, and told that if he had any more alcoholic beverages, it would probably kill him. And he was released from the hospital with this news reverberating in his head. And he drove home in tears, literally, because he knew how serious his condition was, and yet he knew that he just had to have a drink as soon as he got home. And he did get home. He went to the fridge. He took out his alcoholic beverage and was getting ready to drink it when he says, and I believe him, he's a very sane young man, he said, I heard a voice, and the voice said to me, as clearly as any voice has ever spoken to me, you don't have to do this. You don't have to do this. And he poured the alcohol away. He went back into the fridge. He took out all the alcohol from the fridge, poured it all away, and hasn't touched a drop since. And his health has been totally revolutionized. I'm not going to say that the Holy Spirit didn't speak to him that day. I believe with all my heart the Holy Spirit did. I believe the Holy Spirit did a work of transformation in his life. Whether we can say he actually heard a voice or not, I would be inclined to say not literally, but the reality is that the Holy Spirit does speak to us, and he does reveal truth to us that we should hear and heed and believe and trust and obey.